So after you've printed your reference photo and done your sloppy copy in your sketchbook, you're going to want to prepare your final paper. And for this, we're using a piece of paper that's actually 10 inches by 12 inches, but we're going to put a 1-inch border around the edge to make an 8 by 10 rectangle in the center. To do that, you're going to need a couple things. You're going to want your ruler, your clear ruler, and you're going to want a pencil. I prefer to use an HB for this. Try to keep my touch very light. You can use a 2H if you can keep it really light and avoid indenting the paper, but any of the lower B number pencils, like a B or a 2B, will work as well. The reason why we're going to keep a border is because anytime you go to make a portrait, you want to leave a little bit of extra around the edge, or really in a lot of your drawings you want to leave a little extra. You can always trim it off later, but if you ever go to mat or frame this, it gives you a little extra paper to work with to secure that to a frame. So we're going to do that just to prepare a nice final drawing. So this paper is going to be approximately 10 inches by 12 inches. It might be a little bit different depending on how it was cut, but we should be pretty good. So we're going to put a 1-inch border around it. And to do that, we're going to take our ruler and we are going to pick one of the edges, preferably the bottom, and I'm going to line up the 0 of my ruler against that edge. I'm just going to come over and I'm going to mark 1 inch. Just going to do this very lightly. I'm going to come over to the other side, and I can see this is just shy of 10 inches, but I'm going to go to the 9-inch mark on this, so I have an 8-inch gap. Now this side's going to be a little bit thinner, and that's okay, but we want to keep that consistently thin. So what we do is, rather than rotating our paper around, we're actually just going to slide our ruler up to the top and leave a little bit of a gap. And here we'll notice the top of the paper is a little bit wider. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure over to 1 inch. Again, putting my 0 there on the edge. 1 inch, and then I'm going to measure over to 9 again. That means that all my measurements are coming from the left-hand side of my paper. If we rotate it, our lines are going to get a little bit off, but that allows them to stay connected. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line the ruler up with those 2 points. So I've lined up with my bottom. I'm going to spread my fingers out to keep that ruler the same, so I get it located, and then I'm just very lightly going to draw a vertical line. So light you can probably barely see it on the camera. And I'm going to do that twice. I'm going to do that with both sets of lines. Line up my ruler, spread my fingers and put pressure, and then I'm going to push my pencil into that ruler and just lightly touch. I'm not even really pressing down. I'm just letting the pencil glide along there, leaving a mark of where it was. So we're going to repeat this one more time. We're going to rotate the paper, and now we're going to do it at the bottom. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these lines to measure. So I'm going to go on here, I'm going to measure, and I'm just shy of 12 inches. That's okay. So I'm going to measure out 0 on the edge again. Don't use the edge of your ruler along the edge. We do not want any of this. Always put that 0 mark on the edge. I'm going to measure over on my line 1, and then I'm going to skip 10 inches. So I'm going to go to 11. So 1 and 11, I'm going to slide my paper down, bring my ruler up. I'm going to go 1, 0 on the edge, 1, skip 10, 11, so I have my 10-inch gap, and I am going to connect my ruler at the top and bottom. Spread my fingers, hold it down, lightly press the pencil against it, just lightly. And I'm going to repeat that process over here to get my 8 by 10. Now you'll notice I'm not drawing my line beyond these corners that were made by my original line. That is because once you're done, you can go around and erase the extra edges to just leave your centered rectangle. This is going to be where you complete your portrait drawing, and you'll have a nice white border that you can trim down later if you don't need it, or you can leave it to kind of highlight your portrait. So we've set up our paper, we've given a basic 1-inch border and created an 8 by 10 space in the center. So please complete that, and then we'll talk about how to get your photo transferred to the paper using 2 grid techniques or a freehand style in the next video.